Chairman Hill.
Here, unfortunately.
Vice Chair Sarmiento.
Here.
Director Olivato.
Here.
Director Bates. Here. Director Campbell.
Here.
Director Caruth. Here. Director Dahl.
Happy to be here.
Director Hack. Director Crom. Director Lindholm. Director Monahan. Director Reardon. Director Schofel. Director Sonoda. Ray Chamberlain. You have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, members of the public may address the Board of Directors regarding any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board of Directors, but no action may be taken on off-agenda items unless authorized by law. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes for all. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments?
No, we don't.
In that case, we'll move on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one vote. There will be no discussion of these items unless board members request specific items be removed from the consent calendar or separate actions. We have items 1 through 4 on the consent calendar. Are there any directors that would like an item removed?
Move the calendar.
It has been moved and seconded. The consent calendar be approved. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We will then go to item number 5.
And Manager of Treasury Operations. The item I'm presenting this morning is the annual investment policy update. Each year, the board is required to review and approve an investment policy along with the list of authorized broker-dealer firms. The current investment policy was updated and approved in December of 2011. In March of this year, the agency engaged the firm of PFM to review its current investment strategy and recommend changes to the investment policy that would help the agency achieve its investment goals. These goals include safety of principal, liquidity to meet cash flows, diversity of the portfolio, and the achievement of an acceptable rate of return. All recommended changes are allowable within the California Government Code. On this slide here, this information is a summary of the proposed credit quality changes to the investment policy. I would like to just point out a few of these changes. On the first line, federal agency mortgage-backed securities, we established a minimum rating of AA by one rating agency. The second line, for municipal securities, we are recommending that the agency be allowed to invest in municipal bonds issued by all 50 states as opposed to just the state of California. We did not change the required ratings on this category. We have removed the required ratings on certificates of deposit as they are FDIC insured up to $250,000. We also established a user limit of 5%. The last item, the California Common Law Trust, is only rated by one rating agency, so we changed the requirement to just, I'm sorry, it is only rated by one, and we changed the requirement from 2 to 1. The next slide is a listing of proposed changes to the policy holding limits. One of the primary changes to the policy includes a issuer limit increase on federal agency obligations, and that changes from 25% to 35% of the portfolio. This category includes securities issued by such agencies as the Federal Home Loan Bank, Farm Credit Bureau, Freddie Mac, and Fannie Mae. This change aligns us with the California State Code and gives the agency additional flexibility when purchasing new bond issues and purchasing bonds in the secondary market. The remaining changes relate to the investment types that currently have no established holding limits in the policy, and we are recommending the limits be established for these securities. Finally, on money market funds, we have increased the limit on the total portfolio from 15% to 20%. At certain times of the year, especially before a debt service payment, we have high money market balances. PFM also recommended several descriptive changes in the policy to better differentiate which funds are covered by the investment policy and which are covered or governed by the permitted investment section of the indentures of trust. Other changes include the recommendation to present this annual investment policy update to coincide with the beginning of the fiscal year, as opposed to the end of the fiscal year. We are recommending the addition of 4 firms to the list of approved broker-dealers. These additions result in a total of 15 recommended firms. Lastly, we are requesting the approval of a provisional classification of broker-dealer firm. Firms with this classification have been evaluated by the Treasury Manager and will be authorized to perform the same services as board-approved firms, but on a probationary basis. Such firms may apply for an approved classification at the next investment policy update. The action before you today is to adopt Resolution S 2012-07, approving the investment policy for the San Joaquin Hills Transportation Corridor Agency.
Are there any questions? Director Campbell?
It's not quite on the subject, but it's in your general purview. At the Full Eastern, we just approved the annual financial report, and we don't have that on this agenda today for the San Joaquin. Did we do it last month? Or
Yes, it was presented last month.
I thought we had, but I just wanted to confirm that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Any further questions or comments?
I've noted an abstention, please, for potential conflict of interest in an abundance of caution.
Director Bates, thank you.
So I'll move the item.
The item has been moved. Is there a second? Second by Director Dahl. All in favor, please let us say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the extension? Thank you. Do we have a Chief Executive Officer's report today?
Not today, thank you.
Well, you're in luck. I do have a report. I think you'll remember that previously I had reported that Chair Bartlett and myself had been interviewing Alliance Resource Consulting out of Long Beach and Gilbert Tweed International out of New York City as potential recruiting firms for our CEO recruitment process. I'm pleased to announce that today we signed the contract with Alliance Resource Consulting. Although Gilbert Tweed was a strong candidate to lead in the search, we felt that Alliance's knowledge of local politics and presence in California was stronger, and their fee was also substantially less as well. The CEO Search Ad Hoc Committee will meet on November the 16th with representatives from Alliance to review the CEO research search marketing material and finalize that criteria. I would renew my request of you, if any of you have any item that you feel or items that you feel are important to that criteria and you would like to make sure that we include that, please email me as such and we will make sure that that's part of the discussion on the 16th. In addition to myself, Vice Chair Sarmento and Director Schofield are representatives from this committee on the Ad Hoc Selection Committee. After the November 16th meeting, the actual search process will begin. The applicants will be able to send their resumes and pertinent information directly to Alliance, and we will be informing you of that access portal so that you will be able to share with anyone that you might know that would have an interest in applying for the CEO position. One of the advantages of selecting Alliance was that they have an electronic process that we will actually be able to monitor those applicants that have come in and track them through the system. Once the search begins, we believe in communication with Alliance it will be a 3-month process. We of course will update you during that time, and then I would remind the board that it will be the purview of the search committee to narrow the candidates down to 2 or 3, but the final interviews will be conducted by the entire board in closed-door sessions. So that's my update on the CEO search process. Does any director have a question related to that process at this point in time? All right, then we will move to part of the program that is both pleasurable and sad at the same time. We have two individuals that will be leaving us, and it was a close vote as to whether it was pleasurable or sad, but we'll go ahead and offer them some highlights, if you will allow. Our first one is Director Lautenschlager, and you'll know that much better than I, as a matter of fact, that he no, I do not. I get a lot of help up here, but sometimes it's actually helpful. He represents the city of Laguna Hills, and with respect to the San Joaquin Hills Transportation Corridor Agency, and since actually 1992, 20 years, an absolute track record for the TCA of representation. He, in fact, was Laguna Hills' very first representative after they incorporated in 1991. And during his tenure, he served on numerous committees: the Financial Issues, Transportation Ad Hoc, Term Sheet Ad Hoc, Joint Financial Ad Hoc, the Toll Road Rate Committee, the Joint Marketing Committee, on and on. He also served as vice chairman. I heard that he served as chairman on several different occasions, and in fact in 2009 he was chairman of the Finance and Operations Committee while he was also chairman of the board of directors. He was very, very instrumental in the refinancing of the 73, which of course, as we know, has given us great flexibility and life into the future. He has one of the unique positions of being able to look at the prototypes and the first transponder, as well as taking place in the policy decisions as moving us into electronic tolling. So he has really seen the broad perspective of our operations. It's his vision, it's his hard work, and it's his dedication that allows us to hold our head high as we move forward today. So I would like to thank, and after I go through our second individual, we will meet with you down below and give you an appropriate token, your plastic equivalency of our gold watch. So let's celebrate. Our second individual is our one and only Director Dahl. Where's he hiding? Down here. We would like to comment on your dress, but they said that was off limit. Actually, when we talk about 20 years, Director Dahl has been with us since 1997. And so one of the longest serving board members, participating in both the Foothill Eastern and the San Joaquin Hills boards. He served on numerous ad hoc committees and regional boards on behalf of TCA during his tenure as vice chairman and most recently chairman of our board, Finance and Ops, in both 2011 and 2012. He has certainly juggled the needs of both boards back and forth in priorities over the last 15 years. He was very involved in the completion of the 241 toll road. That's that other organization's toy that they play with. And over the 12 months has made great strides in constructing the 5-mile segment of the 241 from its current terminus at Oso Parkway into South Orange County. A major feat. He's also a veteran of testifying before the Coastal Commission. I'm from Newport. We don't even try to do that anymore. The Del Mar Fairgrounds, testifying to the needs of an alternative to I-5 to provide traffic relief for the city and the whole of South County. And as a member of the Foothill Eastern Mobility Ad Hoc Committee, he traveled to D.C. With transportation officials and has actually testified before Congress. I understand that on one of those trips, he somehow or other fell and broke his shoulder. Something that this board has never put him through, but according to staff, and this of course is rumored, but he refused to take any kind of painkillers, had to wait until the next day to depart, and flew back 5 hours with a broken shoulder so he could have it taken care of locally. Talk about buy local. I mean, this is, while he hasn't broken any bones for us, his efforts have been no less impressive with the San Joaquin Hills. And of course, Jim was also very instrumental in the restructuring of our debt and leading in the policy to take us into the all-electronic tolling system. So if both Jim and Joel would join me at the VA. Sorry, I didn't wear my Bermuda shorts for my uniform. Remember, the trend is your friend. Jim, actually, this is the heaviest plastic I've ever seen. Yeah. This is the real stuff. Can't thank you enough for your leadership and your vision.
Thank you. It's great. Well, it's been a lot of fun. I want to thank all the board members from the last 15 years and the staff. I remember Lisa was in high school when I first came off the board. I want to thank Barbie and just Tom O'Malley, everybody that's here. Thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun. And I just can't wait to come to the ribbon cutting of the Tesoro extension, and also the ribbon cutting for the completion of the 241 South. So it's coming, and as I said, the trend is your friend, so it will get completed. So thank you.
20 years. I think I've done anything consistently for 20 years of my entire life. We congratulate you for all of your hard work and your vision that you've brought to the organization.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate this award. Yeah, it's been 20 years, a lot of stories. You don't want to hear some of them, but it's been such a wonderful, exciting time. I think one of the best things when you go to leave office is the memories you hold are not what some of the things you've accomplished, but the people you've met. And this board has some of the greatest staff, some of the greatest board members, and I just really appreciate their providing me with this and the wonderful times we've had together. There is one story. 30 seconds here. Back when we were financing the San Joaquin back in '93, '94, Jerry Bennett, one of the engineers that was at that time the chief engineer, was back in New York with the bond agency, selling the corridor, trying to get this across. That this is financially doable, the county's in great shape, and things like that. And he's in this big conference room, talking to all these big financial wizards back in New York. And all of a sudden, somebody comes running in the room. The county barge just went bankrupt. And to Jerry's credit, he pauses, he looks out over the audience. Now back to what I was saying.
Lisa, would you like to come up for
And it was just a great way to show that perseverance keeps going. You know, you just have that perseverance, it's mainly for the Foothill South people. But keep at it, you'll get it accomplished. And I appreciate all that you've done for me and meetings with wonderful people. Thank you very much.
Is there an open window here? That's a cool way. any other directors that would like to make comments?
It has been great serving with all of these folks who are leaving today, and I appreciate your service. I'll be leaving next month, so I look forward to one of those devices. I'll probably bring a little wheeled cart or something so I don't injure myself. I just wanted to thank staff for their timely report of our revenues, and thank our customers for increasing our revenues by 10% this last month. Again, we're doing better than what we had budgeted, and that's great to see. So,
any further comments by directors? Mr. Josephs, will we have a closed door session today?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have one item, a conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation with regard to the Costco Wholesale Corporation matter listed on the agenda. We do not anticipate reportable action.
At this time, then, I will adjourn us to our closed door, with our next regular meeting being on December 13 at 9:30 a.m. here in the TCA offices. Thank you.